I woke up and I was gonna get ready for work. But I woke up at 9:30 yesterday. The alarm clock rang and I went. I wanted to sleep until 9:40, but I was trying to. I don't know why in my head I wanted to see if I could, maybe if I if it might maybe if I step in the way I could expand time and whatever, right? Just to I don't know. But that was the thought when I woke up. Maybe I could expand my time and maybe I could get more rested or whatever the case may be, right? So I was on that. As soon as that happened, I go, nothing happened. I'm just waking up between 9:30 to 9:05. I'm waking up between that time, and this is important too because I think it'll fit into the later part of what I'm thinking. So I'm doing that. Then I'm done with that. I went to take a shower. And I'm taking a shower and I listen to music and I'm like, the time I have, I'm gonna be leaving the house like I'm gonna leave the house at 10:10 and I'm like, and I think I got in the shower like at 9:50 and I'm like, I can't take a long shower or whatever, I got to be quick with it. And then I'm like, I have the music on and I said maybe if I ignore the time, I could get a good shower in. With that, there's a time on the song, so no matter how I want to, recall, it's always gonna be 3 minutes or whatever, right? But then again, but I just want to give you the thoughts I'm going, right? Then I'm thinking, why did I bring up Muay Thai? It didn't make no sense to me. And I'm like, it's 1 hour because I mentioned how I practice for an hour 30 minutes, and there's sometimes when we're training and it's a good training. It doesn't feel like an hour 30 minutes. It feels like 30 minutes or you know what I'm saying, because it went so quick because of I guess fun it was, right? And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, why did I bring that up? And that sounds stupid. And I'm thinking about like even at that, if that's the case, because as I'm saying, this also goes against the logic I was doing with the previous one. If that's the case, even if that's the case, the same thing with the music. It's gonna have a recall, and I remember. Oh yeah, no matter what, my coach is looking at the clock. So that immediately stops the recall. But I was thinking, but when I was thinking about that, it came to me. The double slit experiment, in this case the observer is my coach, and the atoms and stuff like that are free, and but once the observer sees the clock, it's automatically recalled. So then the idea of the double slit experiment, I'm going to 2 slits without no camera. It's gonna have like several lines without no observer, several lines, no matter what. But once you put the I wanted to, because I had the idea of what I wanted to be the thumbnail, and the thumbnail I wanted was Batman and the Joker, and it was like, where is she? But I think it'd be better if I put the picture of the double slit experiment, but the camera is the observer, and once that happens, I forgot. No, it's actually. Sorry about that. I forgot how it went. Give me a second. Double slit experiment, 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 double slit experiment. What the fuck? Double slit experiment. For some reason, it didn't capture my history. For some reason. Like, sorry. What? Once it's, I guess it scatters all over the place, and once the observer sees it, it starts to line up. It's now not as lined up. Why is it not showing? Double. I think I did it on my fucking phone. Double. Sorry, this is important. Either way, so that happens. Once the observer sees it, then lines come apart, right? Become like in lines. Oh my god, this guy. Two lines. What the fuck, me, bro? Okay, the two slits. Once the camera's observed it, it's two slits. But once the camera doesn't look at it, five. It's like multiple lines instead of two. But once the camera observes it, it's two. Once the camera doesn't observe it, it's more than two. It's a lot. It's a lot of lines. Okay. So that plays into the idea of multiple timelines, two being the recall, maybe. Either way, and then I'm thinking, oh my god, I think I figured out that. Then it's like, who's the observer? It can't be us, and it can't. That's the thing I'm thinking. It can't be us. It can't be. We can't be the observers, even though we are observing, and that happens. It can't be us. And I'm at work now, and I'm thinking at work. And I'm walking and stuff like that. I'm going up the ramp to take out the trash inside the area, and I just remember there's this girl. She has this thing. There's like this little keychain flap around her belt, And the thing that like that it has on it is the sun and the moon. The sun is the observer. Either the sun's the observer or the slab that breaks the atoms into either two. Because without the slab and without the observer, atoms are going to be free. They go as they choose. One atom could exist here, another atom could exist there. Blah blah blah. Once you put this out, then I'm trying to see it. Oh my god, that's 59 minutes. What the fuck? Yo fucking bitch. Observer this to observer, no observer is 5 or like a shitload of lines. Observers to we call. So I'm thinking the moon or Mother Nature is a slab or the sun. And the observer is either the sun or the moon or the slab. I wrote like a bunch of notes. Speak on the perception on how when you focus on it, it follows 2 slots, but when you don't, it creates multiple lines, which could mean free will. Maybe the sun is the observer. How can you remove from the observer awareness? Maybe the moon is the observer. Maybe the Dyson sphere is the way to block out the observer while still the observer still observers. This goes also as I was, as soon as I saw that thing on that sun and the moon, then that's where it's like, okay, so atoms are free falling in space. Once you step on land, either that's when time and stuff like that come to effect. And it doesn't have to be a slab. It could just be like a whole fucking thing, like an atmosphere or stuff like that. I just think it's more or less of just what you see. It's just right there, just cause there's no really any, like it could be whatever. It could be a fucking ball, whatever. But so I'm thinking, okay, the sun is observer and the moon is the slab. And now I'm thinking, how do you remove the observer? And then the idea I was saying, I remember the Kardashev scale, which is Kardashev scale. We're not on the Kardashev scale, we're like 0. But type of civilization that has not yet reached planetary energy mastery, such as humanity, which uses resources from outside its planet. I don't know about that. Capable of harnessing all available energy on its home planet, including solar, wind, geothermal, and tidal power. Can utilize the total energy output of its home star, potentially through its Dyson sphere or swarm. Controls and uses the energy of its entire galaxy, possibly by building Dyson spheres around billions of stars. Can utilize the total energy output of its home star, potentially through a Dyson sphere. So I think that's how you could remove the observer from the the double slit. We double slit because the way he had it, it showed the camera pointing at the recall. Then all saying he pulled. He's like, what happens if you pull the plug and you pretend like it's like the camera's still on. With the recall, it is show that when it's even though if it looks like it's staring at the slit the all the atoms that are hitting the wall, it's still it was aware that no matter what, it was aware that they unplugged the camera, so no matter what, it was gonna be all over the place. And to me, I like that's maybe how you that's how but they unplugged the camera, so but even though it was looking at the experiment, the experiment was fully aware that it was off, and so that's why it came up with the multiple lines. And so that's where the other that comes from. If we block out the sun, we are able to remove that. Where you'll get multiple lines. In my case, multiple fucking branches of reality, right? Once you remove the ball with the Dyson sphere, and once you put the Dyson sphere on the around the sun, you're able to remove that variable, which would be the camera watching the recall. And I think so that's where I'm at, right? And I think Moon and Mother Nature are the slab. I think that's the slab. I think that's the slab that we all go through, and the sun's the observer. So you're going to get two lines. You're going to get predictable whatever because of the either moon or Mother Nature, and after that the sun. I think. I think there's more possibility with the sun. Well, when it goes through it, but once the sun hits it, I think it's finite, or it's something. But this is me just thinking out. Okay, the moon miniature is the slab that the atoms go through. The camera is the sun. But the dicer is for complete free will. Oh, and as I was mentioning about sleeping, right? That in itself could tell you how you manipulate time, because talk about sleeping manipulation. You don't exist in those hours you sleep or when you wake up. So like if you go to sleep, you wake up, and it doesn't. You don't feel those 8 hours or however many hours you sleep. You don't feel that. All you feel is you closing your eyes. You finally going to sleep, and then maybe a couple of minutes you felt probably a couple of minutes, and then boom, you're up. So I think that you got. Oh, and I guess. So I'm thinking right there that's your idea. That's how you can manipulate time, and how that's how basically you just you know what I'm saying, you're up, then you're awake within minutes. Even though it's hours, when you close your eyes and wake up, it feels like minutes. It doesn't short or long. That's how it feels. You don't unless you're the person who actually feels 8 hours of sleep. I don't. You feel 8 hours. You're like, oh, I got good sleep because you got the recall. But I mean, if you actually experience those 8 hours of sleep, you don't. Then you're probably different. but I don't experience my 5 hours or my 8 hours of sleep. I only experience the moment I wake up. And wherever between that is like probably minutes. That's what I feel, but I don't experience those 8 hours. And I said, mention the blue guy and how he was doing true yoga and he was able to control his body, not eating bathroom and other things humans need to do because he was meditating. Real yoga, I think I forgot I was watching Cap Gagnon. He was talking about Hinduism or yoga. I forgot what he was talking about, but he was mentioning this blue guy who I think he was blue, but he was crisscross applesauce. He was meditating and they're like people came around like amazed because he didn't use the restroom, he didn't eat, he was free from all the things that we are not, and it goes to that darkness when you close your eyes in the darkness and maybe meditation and stuff like that, being how you could manipulate time is meditation, and also chanting, meditation and chanting. I forgot, congalingus, yoga. Common Kansuki, Kanilingo wa I forgot what it was, but he basically just meditated and I think he chanted, but I think he was only meditating. And I think if you learn how to meditate, you're able to, I guess, have a better way of denying time, or you could. Because the whole thing is, I think the problem is maybe it's the moon, maybe it's Mother Nature is keeping us to the time we have. So unless you could figure that out within a week, I think in meditation you could break that hold that it has on us. And so there's the other one. So I was thinking about that, like, oh my god, that's crazy, right? The Dyson sphere and stuff like that. And I was thinking about the atoms, one place to another, and I'm like, where is that between? Teleportation is the void of the observer and everything, because in space an atom could exist in one place while the other, hence why you could do that. So that teleportation, you're whatever between is that is of as I mentioned, the avoidance of the observer, and that's I have this theory that maybe black holes the like a environmental teleportation thing, and we have to create that. Maybe with a black hole, that's how we create teleportation. I said black holes is the environmental portal. It's created by space and stuff like that, right? I think teleportation could be used like that. That's how you could not be found by the observer, which would be maybe the sun and stuff like that. Because it doesn't matter when it's out in space, because space is space, and then there's the environmental portal that just comes up out of nowhere, and you go shoot through whatever dimensions or whatever the case may be. But not on planets. You can't do that. Unless you manufactured one portal to another portal, and whatever's inside that portal, maybe a black hole or space, whatever it is, it just denies the observer. And that, when you think about that, denies the observer. So that's teleportation. Teleportation is the avoidance of all material and is part of the atomic world, the thing layered beneath the material. So I think that's where I'm at. When you look at the only difference is maybe the observer is a different kind of thing, and sun is maybe observer is space or different, or space, gravity, or some other physics we aren't aware of. And then the sun and moon, I guess, even though it shows just one slab, maybe there's another thing laid above that. Maybe there's another thing that's playing off of that slab. So maybe it's two different kind of slabs, or whatever the case may be. But I think the observer is either, because as I said, atoms are free falling in space. The observer, the slab comes into play. When the slab comes into play, as soon as you go through the slab, as soon as the energy goes to the slab, it goes all, like, it creates like just say 5 lines. But once the observer comes and looks at it, once you put the observer in, it's only 2 lines. And that's why I'm having, like, maybe maybe the slab is the sun, because it gives you multiple outcomes, and the observer is the moon or Mother Nature, which limits the outcome. And the slab doesn't have to be a slab, it could be whatever. But if you imagine it, space, atoms, a bunch of balls, boom, 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 a bunch of balls, atoms, blackness, blah, blah. A slab, that is the sun. And the observer is the planet, moon, Mother Nature. And that's where it limits the week. The sun gives you multiple lines. As soon as the observer, which is either the moon, Mother Nature, or the planet itself, instead of being 5 lines, there's like only 2 now. Now you limited yourself. I'm gonna pause it 28 minutes, but I'm gonna also mention something. I was watching this. I want also, because now I'm putting planet into as possibly being the observer. I was watching the Y-Files podcast, and this guy who's very, like, if you watch Ancient Aliens, you'll be aware who he is. He brought up, no, not him. Actually, it was Area 52, and it was some crazy guy. It's on the 4chan, so you take that as you will. And he said that, I think if I didn't misinterpret, that the planet could, if you're an alien and you try to jump into this planet, you could get fucked by the planet's energy, whatever it's putting out. And the only way these aliens are able to do that is manipulating their DNA with ours. So that's how they could come on this planet and not be killed by the planet. Which if you think about it, kind of makes sense. It just like, because the way he was putting everything, it was just felt like, this is 2 things. I'm mentioning 2 things, one with the Area 52 and the Y-Files. The way that guy put it, because they're explaining how the moon might be a satellite, and how there's a lot of anomalies within our solar system and stuff like that. Anomalies in the sense that it's just like, that our moon is like in locked with us, and and I guess Mercury should be wobbling, or it should be steady, but it's not, and it could be the case that it was too early when it departure or stuff like that, whatever. Either way, the case may be, the way he was talking about the way he was talking about our solar system is like it's a living being and stuff like that. And so I put two together when I was watching that other guy, and how they was like the planet could be in itself making sure nothing negative happens. When something enters that's not supposed to be there, it eats it, like just like a blood. So when there's a virus that, or like when there's a virus that enters your body, the blood cells go attack it to kill it. In the same sense as the earth, if there's something foreign that doesn't belong, it will kill it. But I think because we're so like I don't want to say narrow-minded, but I'm like limited in how we think, or not. No, not limited. How we perceive, our reality. We were too much. Yeah, yeah. It's like too much. Like, oh yeah, yeah. I believe that our Earth tries to kill these things, if like a blood cell to a virus, if the science proves it, or whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, science has its own uh, people are willing to apologize. People are willing to hold this limited ideas because it doesn't fit theirs. And yes, they have to have the testing and stuff like that. But at the same time, they are also so stuck on some things. Like they wouldn't right there's this what is it, Greek? I think it was Greek. They mentioned the Arcadians, the people before the moon, which I just figured out. No, I didn't figure. I knew of it. Either way. These people existed before the moon, and they lived, and as they were to recall. But and I watched a video of if the moon was sent here and stuff like that, and how chaotic it would be. And then I'm like, would it be chaotic? It could be chaotic, and even at that, if it is chaotic, why would it be hard for us to not live in something like that, where, when you could look at different areas of the planet where there shouldn't be life, but there's life, and I'm saying, so why wouldn't something intelligent be able to deal with the chaos? Maybe we won't be able to deal with the chaos because we are we are adapt we've simulated fully into this habitat, this environment, but not the other one. If we were to go that one, we would be torn apart because of whatever the case that might have been. What if that's true? I think it's true. And what if that's true? And scientists don't use that because they have this belief that no possible way a Tesla could survive that kind of chaotic environment unless there's a fucking, as I like the whole moon thing, unless there's a odd anomaly where it could happen. And in this sense, why not that not happening? So I think that's where I'm gonna go at. I don't know. It's crazy because I was hitting a lot of thoughts in my head when I was thinking this out. Now it's all gone, and that's what it is. Yeah. the atoms are free. Once it hits the slab, which might be the sun, it creates. We're gonna assume millions of timelines. Then the observer comes in, either be the planet, the moon, or Mother Nature, cuts those millions into two, or what, however it wants to cut it down to. So like 1/4 or 1/10 of the million of possibilities of recall. So I think that's it. I think now I think that's how we work on this planet. We have multiple timelines. Only reason why we get limited and all these other bullshit is because either the moon, the mother nature, fuck, and or the planet creating that limiting us to a few instead of the millions of possibilities. Now, I think the only thing I'm having trouble right now is the nothingness. What is that? Because I think that's what happens with teleportation. That's when you have to manufacture the teleportation. As I said, in space, it's a environmental portal. So at some point, space will create just as I said, just like there's like the environment of a jungle. It's gonna rain, and that's the environment. And the same thing as that. At some point, the space is gonna create a black hole, just because that's how it goes. But how do you do that with teleportation? And how do you... I think the idea of bending now doesn't seem to matter. Because you know, they say you could shorten time by bending space. I don't think that matters now. Because for me now, thinking about the teleportation, only reason why it matters is because if you're bringing something huge into the teleportation, it has to be, you have to do the extreme to make sure that happens, for it could enter one place into the other. Because as I said, the atoms could exist in one spot and exist in the other simultaneously. As I mentioned, we had this thing where we teleport an atom from one place to another. We did that. Maybe I need to look at that and see exactly how they did it, or maybe they're fucking lying to us. But how to create the portal on a planet, and in space, maybe it's just doing this. Maybe it's the same thing as a teleportation. And maybe the wormhole is you know how there's like make a big ass fucking ring and then you go through that, through one into the other. But you know what I'm saying? Let me try and figure we'll get done with this space. So a slab. I'm using Stargate. If you watch that show or the movies, I only watched the movies. I haven't watched the show. Basically, this liquid, I think, and then you enter that liquid, and then boom, you're teleported to somewhere else. Yeah. I just don't think. I think right there, there's nothing in between. I think what's inside that circular thing is that, and on the other end will be the other part. And as I said, I could be. Obviously, I'm wrong. But I'm not going to be, as I said, beholden to these ideas. It could change and stuff like that. But the way I'm thinking is basically nothingness between the two teleportation, the entrance and the exit. There's nothing between that. Whatever's inside the portal, you could line that up into whatever's on the other side of that portal. So just think of it like if there was something between, you might have to. I think it will be. If there's something between, it will be like inferior technology, and I don't think you could. You know what I'm saying? Inferior technology. If there's something in between, and if that's inferior technology, not only that, I think there might be consequences if shit fucks up. Because you're weaving within the space. Whereas if there's nothing in between and shit goes wrong, maybe it spills and you're fucked, but in the end, well, depending, I said whatever it is to create that, if that may be destructive, like maybe a black hole or whatever the case may be. But if it falls down, just say if the inferior one, if it falls down, there's repercussions. If this one thing falls down, there's nothing. Other than, and the same thing as the inferior one. Whatever's inside the portal and then between, you're gonna get fucked in both ways. But the more advanced one, you're not. Other than what's in the portal. So I think there's a chance there's nothing in between it, and you're. Well, and you're pinpointing a location. And maybe that's the mind. Maybe it's the mind that pinpoints the location when you enter that. And what is that? Is that the black hole? If that's a black hole, then. Or is that space? Or what is that? Something. Maybe it's the thing that time, which is within the time, and then you're just. Because it makes sense. You could that whole time traveling thing, that could make sense with a portal. That could totally make sense with a portal. And you could just pinpoint the time and the place, and that could make sense for portals to time travel with like that. And you don't have to zip past, go super fast. That at some point you reverse in time. But what's in that middle? Is that like, because there's things with okay, so there's the Mexican aliens. It's we haven't heard of it, but there was I forgot his name, Mufasa. He's an alien guy who investigates. He found these little bodies, alien bodies in Peru, and he brought it to we call. and they were doing experiment. They were not they were doing this happened like I think 2 3 years ago, whatever. They were everybody was making fun of it that it looked like cake, but they looked at the there was like this metal thing on its recall, and I guess it's so maybe it's not that one. Either way, no, I think it's UFOs. I think they said the material. I forgot where I saw this at, but the material is so perfect that it's like the base, I think aluminum might be close to that 80% or 90. I think it could be less than that, but like metal, we don't have the most. It's not the metal we make. It's not 100% metal. It's like it's, I don't know, like 60. We're gonna say 60% metal. It, what if that thing between the portal is the finest item that we're able to melt into a liquid, or that's what maybe no. That one's more difficult, and that maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe that's how you do it is make it so constant. The atoms are so concentrated, it's nearly like 100%, and then that's how you're able to go through the tunnel and pinpoint a place by mind or by like location. You could put the location inside there, and it could take you there. Space, I think that's maybe the same thing or different. I think maybe the wormhole theory with the Einstein and I think Rosenfeld bridge. Einstein and Einstein and Rosen bridge. I think fucking Einstein and Pennington and bridge. Rosen bridge or wormhole, yeah. And Einstein Rosen bridge or wormhole is a theoretical tunnel-like structure, and yeah, Einstein and Rosen bridge. Yeah, maybe it's not like that. I don't. Maybe it, like my idea is that the space you see is this part of the simulation. Underneath is mold, and you could craft it as you may, and maybe you could still recall, but I don't think it probably is necessary for that since atoms could exist in one spot in the other. I guess with space, it's a whole different story, right? And maybe you could, maybe in space, what you're doing is maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe in itself, a black hole is a environmental portal, and maybe we're approaching it wrongly. Maybe if we let that shit suck us in, we could teleport to a certain area. But yeah, it's the same thing. You could just manufacture one in space, and be this. Well, it can't be because it should probably be different once you're on recall. Maybe it's more easier, or maybe it's more difficult to have a manufactured portal instead of a wormhole. And maybe black hole is that. Maybe on our the one that we create on planets, the portals, the teleportation, that's a black hole. Whatever material is in black hole. Oh, how do you create a black hole? I know they're trying to. I know they